Okay, year 13. Thank you again to those people doing the work and keeping up with what I set you. So what I asked you to do last lesson was to read this about the social policies towards women. And there were 5 questions that you had to answer. Okay, so I've uploaded this from the Google Classroom just to save a bit of time. So question 1, what do you understand by the term repressive and reactionary? Okay, so the word repressive shows that the state, the Nazis, wanted to control things. You didn't have many options. And reactionary meant that it was like going backwards, okay, keeping things traditional. So, housewives, women in the home. That's what is meant by that phrase, okay? Number 2, and by the way, don't forget to pause this video at any time and then go back into your work and make any changes necessary. Why do you think that some women would have been attracted to the Nazis' repressive and reactionary policies? Well, I suppose that's about the context of the time, okay? So at the time, yes, there were women who wanted to go out and get careers, wanted to go into education and things like that. However, the context at the time, that was traditionally the role of a woman was to be in the home, all right, being a housewife. And as a result, then, a lot of women actually supported this idea, okay? Next question, question 3. Why do you think the Nazis wanted to encourage women to have so many children? Why did they want a bigger population? So this goes back to one of the key terms at the top of this booklet, which is Lebensraum. Hitler wanted to expand Germany. And he said he wanted to expand Germany because Germany was had so many people in it, but he also wanted to actually, grow the population because he wanted to basically conquer Europe. And in order to do that, he thought he needed, obviously, really, really, really big armies, and that meant, encouraging the population to have more children. So that was one of the main reasons why he wanted women to have so many children. Number 4. Although it might be tempting to say that Nazi policy was successful in increasing the birth rate, as we can see here, in 1932, just shy of 1 million, and then by 1939, close to 1.5 million. So the birth rate was clearly increasing. What else could explain the low birth rate in the early 1930s? Okay, so yeah, this question, when you look at this at face value, it's very tempting to say, yeah, what the Nazis did, it worked. And probably, yeah, part of it was certainly that. But another part of it is that when things are quite tough in terms of the economy, then people end up having less children, all right, naturally, because they've got less money to spend, and they start thinking about, well, should we have another child? Yeah. So in 1932, this was the height of the Depression. People out of work, people, left homeless. And hope very, very low. So as a result, then people would have less children. And then as the economy gets better over time, then people are more likely to have children. So it might not have just been the Nazi policies here. That might have happened anyway. Okay. Always important to think about these type of debates, because the more debate you can get into an exam answer, the better your mark will be. Number 5. Recap, list all the different ways that the Nazis used to increase the birth rate in Germany. So here, I'd expect to see things like, and just look at my list here, right, so they pressured women to stay home, didn't they, through their propaganda, through Hitler's speeches and posters and everything like that. They gave loans to families, and if you had 1 child, you were paid 75% of the loan. If you had 2, you were paid 50%, and if you had 4 kids, then you didn't have to repay any of it. Family allowance. Now, a family allowance is different to a loan. So, with my little girl now, we get a family allowance, basically a payment from the state, okay, into our bank account every month. A little bit of money, it's not that much, but a family allowance just to help out. Maternity benefits. So that means that women can stay off work for longer and, spend more time with their children. And there's an anti-abortion law. I've also got the Lebensborn program, okay, so where they got women to go into these SS brothels and basically, sleep with an SS officer, and, the hope was that she'd get pregnant. Really weird, but yeah, that did happen. And women in work were obviously discouraged, right? So, there was a certain number allowed, as it says here, 10% of university students could be female, okay? 10 seconds left. Need to try and do this table for this lesson, okay? Give that a go. Cheers, year 13.